we are going to go over what is possibly, for some reason, the most controversial gacha game that we've gotten in the longest time ever. And I don't know why, but I know why, and we're going to react to this video right now. And so this is Stioorg. Why are players disappointed in Zenless Zone Zero? I'm going to give you a TLDR real quick of just my thoughts. I don't think it's the worst gacha game ever created. I think we're going to watch that in a second. I think that they dropped the ball with quite a few things here. One is that it's not that the combat doesn't have depth, because the combat really does. You have your normal attacks, your skills, your enhanced skill, your ultimates. You have two types of swaps. You have a defensive swap where if you get hit, the game is going to allow you to actually swap to a different character so that person on the field doesn't die. You then have a swap where once you break an enemy's stun meter and you hit that enemy, I don't know if it's a heavy attack or if it's a skill. I don't know what you have to hit that enemy with, but once you hit that enemy with said skill, you then swap to the other unit and they pretty much do their own version of their ultimate, which is just as important as an ultimate in the game, because the thing is with the ultimate, you can only ultimate with one character. So the strategy, the basic breakdown of the game is for team building, you want a DPS, you want a person who's going to break shields and stun them, and then you want a third fill spot. And then what happens is your rotations are obviously you want to go on field with the person who is breaking these people's shields and stunning them. Once you break that down, obviously use support for whatever you want to freeze them, whatever the case may be, give your buffs. After that, you break the shield, you go back to your on-field person. Hopefully at that point you have your burst. You burst with your on-field strongest character, and then that is really the rotations. The most surface level guide I can provide you with off rip. Now, the $1 million question is the game bad? I don't think it's bad. I just think that it's so easy at the moment that there is literally no incentive to learn the mechanics, to learn the characters, to learn combos for individual characters, and learn how each kit works. In Genshin Impact, despite whatever you want to say, you had to understand elements. You physically could not beat the game if you did not understand how the elemental system works. In Wuthering Waves, although the elements are not very important, you still need to understand them, who's effective against this, what's effective against that, and you need to know intro-outro skills so you can actually do damage. In this game, you just got to left click, and people are very upset that you're saying that, but it's the truth. Again, the problem is that there is not any depth. The problem is that it is so easy, you just got to left click. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. So that is my thoughts on it so far. I think the TVs are a little ridiculous. I think adding TVs in every single story is stupid. If you want to do it in some, that makes sense. But in the endgame content, I understand the TVs actually kind of enjoy it because it's a little bit of a puzzle. But the story TVs are just absolutely tedious. And the game feels like 60% open world, 40% TVs, and 0.1% combat. That's how I'm looking at it right now. But let's get into it. See what Homie has to say.
The real reason why people are not satisfied with Zenless Zone Zero. Of course, we're showing my opinion on the game. So let's get straight to the point. The first real reason why people are not satisfied with the game is like the game is too easy for them. All you have to do is left click. Some people aren't feeling the rewards from the gameplay. But I actually want to preface this, and I want to say that the game for me is kind of enjoyable. I will probably rate it a 6 out of 10, maybe a 6.5 if.
Nah, that's crazy. And enjoyable as a 6 is crazy, son. Oh my god, that's crazy. Wow. Wow, that's how you know the bar is pretty low. I think that ranking can go a lot higher, though. I think that ranking is low because of what they said. It's just easy, bro. It's just way too easy. I would like to bring up, I think one of the things, and I'm going to try to not yap too much, but I think one of the things that really hinders the game is one moment Hoyoverse is saying, this is going to be the most casual gacha game we've made. You don't have to worry about logging in every single day or not logging in for a few months. You can come back and you won't miss too much progression. And then on the other hand, oh, by the way, we're going to end a bunch of endgame content, a bunch of more combat stuff. So it's like, which way is it? Which side of the pendulum are you going? Because you got one crowd thinking it's just going to be a story game, which it really is at the moment. It's really just a story game with a little bit of combat in there after you're done playing Tetris or whatever the arcade games are. And then another portion of the community is like, no, this is a fighting game. This is 100% a fighting game, and you're wrong. Not all of them are like that. Some of them are chill, but a lot of them are like, you're wrong. Combo. And it's like, first of all, you don't have to combo. That's the thing. The game is so easy to the point where you don't need to do that. You don't need to look at a character's moves list. You don't need to look at their skill listing and understand everything, or even understand the stats, bro. I have the game open right now. In CBT3, I did not even look at this. I did not look at their stats. I did not look at anything. I actually didn't look at this when I launched the game again. Until I watched the Mr. Pokey video and he broke down what these do. So obviously this is a main DPS dealer. HP attack, defense, crit rate, crit damage is pretty simple. But impact are, you know, these people who have those highlighted are main DPSs. People who have impact highlighted are going to be the people who are going to be your stunning characters. So it says right there, stun. This is going to be an anomaly character. I didn't even know what this stuff meant or that this screen existed until I was like close to pretty much finishing the content. I was like, wait a second, there's a screen here and it breaks stuff down. Like anomaly. Agents with anomaly specialty are exceptional with applying debuffs and excelling at accumulating anomaly buildup to weaken enemies. You don't need an anomaly and you don't need to stun on your team for most of the content. And I bet you 99% of the time you probably won't even need it in the end game either. We're going to get on an end game account and we're going to run through the end game together and see how bad it is. And I'm going to try to see if I could just brute force it with nothing and still have a decent time. And then we're going to try it with like actual combat swap mechanics and shit. But that was the main point where it's like it's not needed. It's not needed. So anyways, I digress.
I'm generous, but I want to say that the first like 20 levels of the game aren't very enjoyable until you actually get to the new modes and try some end game mode, and it becomes a little more challenging the more you play it. And I think that if the game is going to be always casual like that, it's going to only like get a very, very, very niche audience, and it will probably be my first gacha game that I play on mobile. I do not enjoy gacha games on mobile, but I think this is going to be a good one. But another,
you know, honestly, I think we kind of forget that it's I think we kind of forget that it's a mobile game, and you're supposed to play these games on mobile without struggling and without having a problem. And I feel like we really do forget, like, this is a very probably solid mobile game because you just got to spam the attack button. You got 2 buttons, maybe 3, and there's not complex, intricate swapping. The game pretty much swaps for you. MTash said something very smart, and I 100% agree with. He doesn't feel like he's controlling the characters. I really feel like the game is autopilot, and they play for you. All you need to do is hit the left click button, and they do everything else. They tell you when to swap. They obviously tell you when to parry. They're telling you when to do your quick dodges. They're telling you when to do literally everything. And the point is that it's too easy. You know, the parrying system, you can't miss a parry. You can't. It's if you miss a parry, that's a skill issue. It's so simple. And I feel like they try to negate the parry system by, like, you can only parry a small enemy up to 6 times. You could parry a big enemy up to 3 times, but you still got the infinite dodges. Well, they're not infinite, but you still have those other dodges. So it's like, even that system to me is a little flawed. I'm like, it's not all that, but whatever, let's go.
Reason why people aren't satisfied, I think that if the game launched before Wuthering Waves, I would think that it would get a better reception, because people already tried how you can get one shot from bosses and how a lot of modes aren't that easy, and then we went to a very easy game. I can see that point.
A lot of people played this before Wuthering Waves. A lot of people played this before Wuthering Waves. And they had the same sentiment. A lot of Genshin CCs and a lot of Hoyoverse CCs said that they did not give a hell about the game to begin with. And what really got them into it was honestly their most recent live stream. I do think, obviously, Wuthering Waves being so rewarding and giving, that definitely affects people's outlook on the gacha and how the gacha is working in the game. That I 100% agree with. But gameplay-wise, I think it's stupid to compare the two. I think it's stupid to compare them in general. But those two in particular, it's like, separate them. I don't think one has to do with another. I really do believe it's apples to oranges. One is strictly just more combat focus and heavy focus. The other one is dumbed down combat with story, and that is Zenless Zone Zero. So I mean, if people are comparing it, I guess, but I think it's stupid. And I think a lot of people had this sentiment before they knew about Wuthering Waves, before Wuthering Waves even came out. Before that beta came out. So
but to be honest, let's be real, the game is overhated. I think that a lot of people are either hating for fun, or the things that they don't like are just personal preference. Like, for example, let's talk about the TV mode, okay? The TV mode is probably the worst thing they did on the game.
Big agree.
And I actually agree that the TVs in a lot of things kind of useless. Like, why did you put TVs here and there? And a lot of it in the main story, like, they need to change that. They need to make it easier for a lot of people. To be honest, in modes like the simulated universe of this game, I actually enjoyed the TVs.
It's fun.
Yes,
The
I
Sim
thought
TV
they
is fun.
had
It
a
is.
meaning inside this mode, in only this mode. I thought, okay, keep the TVs in this mode. This is good.
Yeah.
But in a lot of other modes, in a lot of other ways you play the game, there is no need to do TVs every time. So they definitely need to change TVs. But at the same time, I
sure.
found that TVs are kind of personal preference too. Like I found some people that like TVs, and even myself, I kind of enjoy
Yeah.
them sometimes. I won't say that I never enjoy TVs and puzzles, but maybe because I like puzzles, you know? Would I say that most people like puzzles? I don't think so. No.
I think when you're in the story and they make you go up and down between 7 different layers of TVs just to complete a prologue or a prelude quest is the most tedious and stupid thing ever. That like should be taken out. Save the intricate. Save those puzzles. You have to load up the train. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. It's like, bro, I just want to play the game. How can you or anyone says that there's depth to the combat expect people to know that if you can't even play the game, if you got to go through a million hoops to even get into the combat itself? So that I agree with. Again, simulated universe, cool. I like it. I think it's cool. I think it fits. It's not over. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's not too annoying, and it's really actually involves more strategy because your HP is not going to recover. You have to be careful and actually. I mean, the game is easy, so you're not going to struggle, right? But you have to be careful. You have to not go into the wrong TV so you don't take damage. You are taking more damage in the simulated universe from the bad TVs that damage you than the actual enemy sidebar. But yeah, I think the simulated universe is definitely a W.
The
for sure.
Zenless Zone Zero experience is good to see, not to play. At least for day one. After that, the game improves even more. Like I'm in day 2 now. But day one
day one
feels
experience is
kinda
horrible.
slow.
It's
it
not
feels
good.
kind of annoying. The game is easy. Although the
Repetitive,
gameplay looks
easy,
very,
slow.
very good, it's not very enjoyable. It has some depth in it, but you don't need it.
not
That's my
enjoyable 'cause you can't
problem
play
with Genshin. But even Genshin was more enjoyable as a start, or even for a whole month or two, to learn how to do the reaction, to dodge sometimes. But here the mobs need like to hit you like 20, 30 times to kill you. This is insane. At least from the start. I'm talking like this is the start of the game. And I do know the game has to be easy from the start, especially for gachas. Even Wuthering Waves, the crownless fight, the first crownless fight is easy. But I think that they went too easy on the player.
Widowing Waves, Widowing Waves, the Triple W. There is a massive spike after like 2 to 3 hours. The first 10 hours of this game is, again, 7 hours of nonsense, 2 hours of gameplay, and another hour of nonsense. It's slow. If you like the story, I love that for you. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been skipping it because I'm just trying to get to the game and get to the end game to really give a solid, honest opinion and possibly a review. And it's mind-numbingly boring. It is mind-numbingly boring to the point where I want to enjoy the combat because I think the characters look nice. I think they're flashy. I think the animations are sick. The cutscenes are the best cutscenes Horrorverse has ever created, hands down. This game's cutscenes are top tier. And the storytelling can be fun because I did pay attention to the story in CBT3 and I like the comic panels and then the Danganronpa thing and then all stuff. Like, that's cool. But the first day is atrocious. Like, this is the biggest turnoff ever. Like, it's one thing if they front-loaded a bunch of combat to you and said, okay, this is super easy. Just get through this. But then after that, you get to this next level. Or get through these few things and then you'll get there. It's not like that. They don't front-load combat to you. They front-load everything else. You have to walk around the city. You get into a car. You go to this place. You go to that place. You gotta do this. But the most fun I've had in Opera was playing Snake, you know? And I'll body all you motherfuckers in Snake. If you want to PvP me, I want to Asia server, let's 1v1. But the point is that it's not enjoyable. And there's not enough meat and potatoes on the first day. I don't know why they would make that change. I don't know why they would make that decision. When I talked about my Widowing Waves, I did my Widowing Waves review. I was like, yo, the first 2 hours are going to turn off a lot of players. Because the pacing is horrendous. It's not good. And it's just rough. The first 2 hours of Widowing Waves is very rough. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not enjoyable. It's not enjoyable. I didn't enjoy it in the beta. I didn't enjoy it when the game came out. After that, it picks up exponentially. And this game, Zenless Zone Zero, Zenless Triple Z's first 15 hours, first 10 hours is like that, but worse. And I think that is a massive, massive red flag. And I don't blame people for not wanting to play. I just don't. Yeah, man. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. It's hitting a target audience that is not hitting Genshin and Stario, but when your reoccurring players are having a problem with it, all of them, or a big, large, vocal majority of them are having a problem with it, there's a deeper issue here. So I think they need to get rid of the TVs. I think they do have a skip button, which is nice, which is very nice. But the open world stuff, like there has to be some like streamline, like, hey man, get through these first 2 chapters and you hit endgame and you're good. You know what I'm saying? Like, not that you can complete endgame, but not, at least give me something to grind for. It is mainly a story game first. But okay, continue.
Players. But looking at the gameplay is very, very smooth. There's something about the game that's very smooth that I like. The movement looks very cool. There's a lot of things that are good in the game, but you cannot use that. You know, you cannot utilize what you're doing. So I do not think that the game is bad. I think there's a lack of difficulty in the game. That's it. Because, for example, I like the story. I like how they present the story. Even though I didn't expect to like it. I was like, okay, this is a visual novel. I won't be able to like this story, but no, the story was actually enjoyable to me. The gameplay is also enjoyable. There's some cool strategy to it if the mobs are doing some damage, which they will do when you progress into the game. But it's still not enough for now. I hope that the more I progress into the game, a little challenging. I need to dodge at least once or twice. Because for now, especially day 1, it felt like bottom mashing. You only like use left click and that's it. But here I wanna call some people that are going like, okay, PGR is better. Here's the thing, I only played 15 hours of PGR, and I'm gonna be real, I think that PGR is just mashing the same button. The gameplay looks flashy and looks even better than Zenless Zone Zero, but I think that PGR also has the same problem, at least in the first 15 hours. I only...
Hot take. We got a lot of Wuthering Waves. People on this channel. I don't like PGR. I know objectively it's a good game. I don't like it. I would rather play Zenless Zone Zero than PGR. I think PGR story at the beginning, that people tell me, oh, get to chapter 9, it's like Honkai Impact. Trash. I think the color coordinated combo system is weird. I don't know. I'm not a fan of PGR. I really, really, really love Wuthering Waves, and I think that's my number 1, if not number 1.5 gacha, like 1.1 gacha game. It's neck and neck with Genshin. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a Genshin simp, but not a fan of PGR. Not a fan. That's just a sidebar.
Like the same abilities, and I finished the whole content that I played. Now you might say, and I want PGR players to confirm
I hear you. I hear you say something bad about PGR, buddy. What is wrong with you? When are we gonna come here, comment section, and shit on you?
So don't hate about PGR. Okay, exactly. Do not hate about Zenless Zone Zero.
I'll rewind.
The comments, you might say PGR will actually become more challenging afterwards and you will have to use other buttons, so don't hate about PGR. Okay, exactly. Do not hate about Zenless Zone Zero from the start, but as an opinion, I think the start of the game isn't the best, isn't the most enjoyable.
It shouldn't take 15 hours for you to finally get used to the depth of the combat. You don't even need to get to endgame. Let's throw the word endgame out the window. It should not take you 15 hours for you to start using combat mechanics that were implemented in the game that should have been used after the first tutorial chapter. It's stupid. It's stupid. Whether you want to call it PGR, Honkai Impact. Honkai Impact's horrendously slow at the beginning. I quit the game twice at first. It was bad. Then it picks up OD. There's no reason for that. I think that is the big downfall. You know, so if the counter argument to what I'm saying or what he's saying is like, oh, well, how do you expect to get to endgame within the first day? Don't get to endgame, but give me something to do or some level of difficulty where I can use these swaps effectively. I can use everything. I also think that giving enemies more HP, artificially increasing the HP, that's not difficulty. Make them attack more, make them attack faster, make them have different attack patterns, make them do more damage. I mean, there's a plethora of things you could do to increase the difficulty without just saying, oh, they're an HP bot now. It's like, come on. I don't want an HP check. I already got a million of those DPS checks. I want something different. That's why people love Wuthering Waves. But I digress.
Does it deserve all the hate for now? No. We need to complete the whole thing. I actually don't think players should do everything. Let content creators do their thing. Let some free-to-play players go through the whole content. And you can see some different opinions about the game. For me, the game is a 6 out of 10. I'm not quitting the game any sooner. Even though the game feels like a hack and slash now, it kind of feels fun. And I can see that it's promising. The devs are doing a bad job in presenting how the game will look like in the future because they sometimes sometimes say,
just
okay,
mentioned this
it's a
earlier.
casual game, and then in the live stream go ahead and say we will implement more harder things in the future. So yes, I will also blame Hoyoverse for what they did. So anyway,
Yeah.
that was my opinion.
Okay.
We will see in the future. That was the video. Bye bye.
W. Perfect. Really good video. I think all the points there are very valid, and I think at the end of the day, the game is just, it doesn't deserve the hate it's getting, but I understand the negativity for it. But it's not the worst thing ever. It really does feel like a hack and slash, for sure, and I don't mind hack and slash, but I don't know. It's just too easy. I honestly, I wouldn't mind it if the combat was more present. If the combat was more readily available all the time, I'd be cool with it. But since it's not, it's annoying. Let me know what you think. Mwah. I love you. I'll see you in the next one.
It's calling my name. So come on, baby, let's stop.